Well, we have to wait a little bit for people to tune in, so you got time.
Oh, okay.
What are you stirring?
Um,
So no, can we get into the wallet in the back pocket?
the wallet. Is it a bad thing?
Well, no, I mean not necessarily. Doesn't it hurt?
I don't have it in my back pocket when I sit down. I just take it out.
So you have the whole process throughout the day of wallet in, wallet out, no matter what happens.
Yeah. So I have a system.
Oh.
Left back pocket is wallet.
What's in your wallet?
My cards.
Left back.
All cards.
Take note of that, Dave. Next time you need to get a little money.
And then my key is in a particular pocket. My phone is in a particular pocket. So like whenever I move somewhere and one of my system is off, I know something is wrong.
So when you sit down, then do you empty all pockets onto a table?
When I sit down at my desk, yes.
What about in your car?
In my car, yes.
Okay. What about at home?
Of course.
Okay. What about at a restaurant?
Restaurant, yes.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm going to sit for like an hour.
So pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, but if I'm just coming to hang out at your desk for like 10 minutes, I'm not going to
Would you sit at my desk if you hung out for 10 minutes?
Of course. When we're talking about The Bachelor, of course.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Take some time.
Did you watch Bachelor in Paradise? Did you watch it?
No.
You should.
Was it good?
It's always good. I
thought the premiere alone was 2 hours and every other show is an hour.
Oh, no, Toby.
2 hours is a huge
2 hours on
commitment.
Monday. What do you got going on? 2 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Tuesday, rest of the summer.
Wait, 2 hour Monday, 2 hour Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it's like front loaded in the week.
What? No,
Monday
I mean it's on Monday and Tuesday, if that's what you're asking.
I would have thought like Monday, Thursday, or like Monday, Wednesday.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Nope. Monday, Tuesday. And it's 2 hours each, but if you record
Dylan on the show? I keep seeing
Dylan?
Is it that
Oh,
him?
yeah. He's a little bit of an underdog right now. He is attempting to court Hannah G.
Isn't Hannah just
No, that's Hannah B. Hannah G is also though from Colton's season.
I know that name. Colton.
Yeah, bad season.
People didn't like him.
No, it wasn't good. But Hannah G's from that season, and Dylan is doing his very best to become best friends with her.
BFFs. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Bachelor in Paradise, there is no winner, right?
I mean, the viewer.
Oh, okay.
The viewer wins.
The viewer always wins.
Yeah, they put them on an island. It's like the All-Star game for Bachelor and Bachelorette, and so they put them on an island all with each other, and yeah, it's like a getaway vacation, right? And then just plop a bunch of people there, and right, see what happens.
Yeah,
it's a great show.
4 hours.
Yeah, well, you're really dwelling on the 4 hours.
Right.
If you record it though, then you can skip through parts, so you're probably about 3 hours.
That's fair. But it's like fall season. The English Premier League is back. Football is back. Everything is back. It's like
you can't fit anything. You fit in Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, what a great movie.
So you can fit in some Bachelor in Paradise. You just record it and watch it when you have time.
Well, the Shawshank Redemption was a story about friendship. So
it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got me in the heartstrings.
Did it?
So good.
Did you cry?
No.
Oh, so it must not have been that good.
Friendship is like it makes you happy.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still have happy cries.
Like
I cry. I cry during a lot of movies.
More like
I cry during Marvel movies. Yeah.
Which one did you cry last?
All of them. mainly Ant-Man.
great.
Ant-Man and then Ant-Man and the Wasp because the mom and the dad.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't want to do a spoiler, but
I saw it in the last
they survived.
Christmas break. I was trying to catch up with all the Marvel movies before Endgame.
I watch them sometimes on the plane and then I cry and then I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, like
I have to go.
You shouldn't be embarrassed. Anybody that looks at you should be sleeping. Don't look at me.
Thank you. You're making me feel better.
Yeah.
What time is it? How we doing, Dave?
We're doing pretty well. We have a listener question.
Oh, we do? Okay.
When, and I think this is within the context of this movie conversation, when was the last time Toby cried?
Ooh.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Whoa. For a movie or just in general?
I think watching a movie.
Watching a movie.
Is it Toy Story?
Toy Story, that was a long time ago. I can't remember. I don't think I've cried for a movie in ages. They don't make good movies anymore. They just make movies that make
Did you
you
not
happy.
watch the Ant-Man?
The Ant. I want to.
Or Ant-Man and Wasp?
It wasn't in the theater. Like in the theater creates an environment for you to be vulnerable. When you're at home, you can like pause it, go use the restroom. You know, it's you're not as like 100% in.
Oh, what
So
about
it's-
on an airplane?
On an airplane, no, I'll be playing chess. Don't watch movies.
Have you ever seen The Notebook?
That is on my list. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen
I
that?
actually talked about it today. I haven't.
That'll
seen
make
it.
you cry. Did that make you cry, Dave?
I haven't seen it, but I Googled what movie will make me cry. And that's at the top of the
Notebook?
list.
You know, have you seen This Is Us, a TV show?
Oh yes, that one.
Did that make you cry? That had to make you cry.
I watched like 15 minutes of one episode. I was
Oh,
like,
that's a lot of effort.
I am not ready for this.
Mm-mm.
You need to be like emotionally like prepared.
Yep, and you can
to
only
see-
watch one episode at a
You-
time
you
because
can't
it's
binge it.
draining. There's no
It's-
binging
it wa-
because
I
like
didn't know what it was. I just finished. I think it was.
you stumbled on it.
Yeah.
Oh, you poor
It was
thing.
like I think Sunday Night Football just finished,
Oh,
and
yeah.
This Is
Sure,
Us
that's what it
queued
was.
in, and I was like, what is happening? And I just started feeling. I was like, I could not.
I watched parts
I
of the
could
first
not.
season, maybe even the whole first season. Okay, I watched the whole first season, and yeah, every episode I cried,
Wow.
and
Yeah, I will cry. I
it was a
think, every
lot
episode.
to deal with.
It's
So
on
I
my
didn't
DVR.
watch the second season because it was
That-
too
you
much.
always have to be like in the right frame of mind to see it, and I'm always like when I get home, I want to like laugh. I want to watch The Office. I don't want to cry.
Fair enough. Or Parks and you watch Parks
and Rec, yeah, great.
Do you ever watch anything on Bravo?
Bravo. What did it?
Oh.
On there?
Maybe we'll save this for a different time. But they have like the Real Housewives and Vanderpump
Oh.
Rules, and
No.
Oh,
What's
to-
Vanderpump Rules? What is that?
you don't know. All right, I don't think we have time to get into that today, but I think maybe next time we will discuss. Billy knows because he went with me to a Vanderpump Rules restaurant. We went to
Oh.
Sir together,
Oh, for real?
and yeah, Paul did too. He went to Villa Blanca.
Wow.
Yeah,
Vanderpump
that's not
Rules.
Vanderpump Rules, but it's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, same owner, Lisa Vanderpump.
Did you get autographs and stuff?
No, I autographed the bill.
All right, let's get the show on the road.
Oh,
Let's-
okay.
let's get live.
Dave says we get started. All right. Welcome back to Labs Live. My name is Dan, your host, and always
Toby.
co-hosting here. We are the only tech show hosted on Thursday, 3 p.m. in Detroit at our office.
To the world.
What?
To the world.
To the world. Yeah, well, yeah.
Detroit to the world.
Detroit to the world because it's
TM.
the internet. Before we get going, do not forget to subscribe and hit that little bell icon because then you're notified for when we do this again. Also, we tweet and it goes on Instagram and it goes a lot of different places. But, if you subscribe, you get a little notification on your phone. That's always helpful. Afterwards, you'll be able to view the show. But, if you're watching this, then you don't really need to view it afterwards, I guess,
You
right?
should watch it again.
Do you watch yourself over and over again?
I would not respond to that. I watch it
is it
sometimes.
like? But is it like game film?
Yeah, that I feel like Tom Brady. That's like, you watch your game film.
Dude,
you
you were
try to-
obsessed with Tom Brady. There is a chat room, so if you do have a question throughout the show, you can ask a question in there. Dave, our producer over here, will read the question on his mic because he is now mic'd up. So, did you have something?
You wanna
Dave,
test it?
Test.
There it is. All right, so we are excited. Today's guest is Nicole Minaudo.
Exciting.
She is a talent specialist at Detroit Labs, and I'm pretty sure I said the last name correctly. I'm pretty pumped about that. We're going to be on here talking about recruiting, so both from a angle of a recruiter, angle from a candidate, talk a little bit about on-site here at Detroit Labs. And if you have questions for Nicole during that segment, that's Dave's going to be paying attention to the chat room. But before we do that, Toby, do you know what time it is?
News time.
News time. Now, we're first going to talk about privacy, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. So where do you want to start from?
Okay. So, you're right. There is a lot of stuff. Last time we talked about Facebook. I'm not going to talk about that because it's the never-ending story with Facebook.
Lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, exactly. But this week, or in this last couple of weeks, you had Google, you had Amazon with Alexa, Siri, Cortana. All of them have come under some scrutiny because of their, intelligent voice assistants. And they've all had to announce that there are features that are going to be disabled. You can have a "Don't listen to me" feature essentially enabled to disable the ability to listen to them. And a lot of that is just that they have engineers behind the scenes, not necessarily listening to messages. I mean, you know this probably more than most when it comes to they are listening.
Yes, always. But that's a topic for another day.
So what do they? So help me understand what they do when they listen. Then,
I think, for example, in the Apple scenario, they just listen to kind of grade the responses to maybe know, like, when you said, "Hey Siri," if that was intentional, or if you summoned Siri by mistake, and just to make the software better. But I think a lot of these issues it's not necessarily that you know that somebody is listening, that's why you're upset. It's more like you didn't know that someone was listening. I feel like if Apple had explained when I started using Siri that, "Oh, do you want to give permission so we could make Siri better?" I have the choice to say yes or no. So this would not be a news to me, for example. But not having that option is like a dark pattern in like software, and then just waiting to get caught. Then you offer the option.
What's interesting, one of the things that I think we've all learned over the years is that if a service provides you enough value, you're willing to give up some level of privacy.
Yeah.
And I wonder
especially when it's free.
Right. Well, and I'm wondering if these digital assistants that we've reached the point where people just look at them and say, "You're not providing me enough value, and now I want to scrutinize what my privacy is."
That's valid.
So
yeah, one could, like, for me, I've never been someone who would use a voice assistant because
I agree with you, man.
I just find it easier to like click on stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the whole concept of turn my lights. I can just do it myself. I don't get it. I mean, I do it from my phone, but yeah. All right, on to iOS 13. There's 5 hidden features.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna discuss them.
Yeah, there are 5 of them that are really cool. I think some just they're little like conveniences that would like make you happy, but my favorite one is the optimized battery charging. You notice like my iPhone right now is like a landline; it's always charging. But Apple has responded to a lot of the battery issues so when you're charging your phone, there's like intelligence, I guess, machine learning on the device to know how you use your phone. So when, let's say, you plug in your phone at 10 p.m. at night through 6 a.m., it would know to stop charging at 80%, like maybe and just wait till when you want to wake up, then fully charge it. Because the art of like fully charging it and staying fully charged over and over and over is what degrades the battery the most, I think. So they added that in iOS 13, and that's like my favorite feature because I just plug in and go to bed.
Yeah, I think most people do. I mean, that's a really big win and something that clearly they didn't talk about WWDC. But also there's the new volume indicator, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome.
That is really it's like right now on the left side, very subtle.
Yeah, how annoying was it in the past where you would be doing something
or YouTube and you increase the volume and it's like on your face.
Thankfully YouTube has, if you turn it, landscape, it has it on the top now. But for instance, if you have a text message and you have a video that you're getting ready to show someone and you're really excited,
to watch video?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Do you not?
I do not. I'm the Snapchat Republic, like vertical videos all the time.
So on YouTube, you don't watch any video landscape?
What about this video?
What about this video when you go back and watch it?
I cast it to my TV.
Oh, Apple Play or CarPlay or
Chromecast.
Chromecast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they also like the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth now is on the control center, so you can just easily toggle that.
That's nice.
That's been stressful because you had to go to the settings and go to the
Yeah.
It's just little things that make the world
a better
place.
What is it, handwriting on the keyboard? I think is the other one.
Yeah, you can
That's
enlarge it, and it's good for languages that are not like English language, like kanji, so you can have more space to write out the symbols and stuff.
Cool. Apple Card, and I mean they announced that in WWDC, but I think the big news there is that they've started to roll it out to a couple select folks that signed up for more information. I was not. Yeah. How about you?
No.
I dragged my feet on it because I was like, I don't need another credit card. I've got my Delta Amex. I really like that one.
I saw the commercial. I was like, take my money.
Really? The commercial got you?
What about
it got you?
It just looked Apple. It was so cool. I just signed up and I put my email in there.
So all they had to do is show you a picture or something, and you just signed up.
They just have a great marketing like strategy. Like initially, I was like, I don't need another card, and I saw the video. I was like, oh, sign me up. And it's like 2% cash back on like
Yeah,
everything.
the cool thing is after every purchase, you get daily cash. So 2% back, 3% on Apple
Free money.
purchases, and immediately you have money to use.
Yeah,
Um,
love it.
Let's move on here. Ninja, famous streamer, just moved from Twitch. Dave's a big streaming
Yeah.
video game fan.
He's famous online.
Moved to
Yeah,
Mixer,
to Mixer, Microsoft's platform.
and he's already got 1 million subs. Have you watched him on there yet?
No, I wasn't a huge Ninja fan back when he was on Twitch, but
Is that
curious
because
to
you
see
don't
how
watch?
this pans out.
Because you don't watch Fortnite, or
Yeah, and his personality isn't
Not a,
something
just
I'm
not
interested in.
not a big fan. Yeah, it's still interesting that I mean, obviously Mixer paid for this, right? And Mixer is Microsoft's platform,
Big
so
time.
clearly they went and said, "All right, we need to get the best talent, and if we get talent, it'll provide a halo effect." And I'm curious to see if ultimately that'll end up.
pun intended, Halo, Microsoft?
Oh, I didn't
wow,
think about
wow.
that. I wish that was intentional. All right, last one. Disney Plus. You and I talked about this quite a bit this week. They announced. I know it's pretty good. They announced bundling where you get Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. It's ad supported Hulu, but you get it for $12.99 a month, which is, it's an incredible deal.
It's a great deal. And just Disney alone, the amount of content they have, just thinking of the movies and the TV shows, is just the average TV consumer or Netflix user even would like sign up for that bundle.
Well, the interesting thing is I did not believe in the Disney Plus service. Literally, when it came out, I'm like, I'm never signing up for another streaming service. And I looked at it as having, everyone said, oh, the amount of content they have is great. Well, okay, but then once you, work through all that content, then you have a streaming service that for what reason, right?
You watch it again.
And well, I know, I get that part, but the interesting thing was Disney started to announce all the new content they were going to do, right? So they were going to have specific Marvel movies, specific Star Wars series. They were going to have movies once they went to the theater, and then instead of coming to iTunes, they would go to Disney Plus for a while.
Yeah.
So I have backpedaled my, I don't know, not wanting Disney Plus. I have backpedaled on that stance. I'm pretty sure I'm going to sign up and say, take my money.
And pretty much everything Disney Plus has is what Netflix would not have.
Right, exactly. They're pulling everything back.
So I wonder if that would even affect the new users. I don't think it would affect the current users of Netflix. They would not cancel Netflix. But like, if you're a new person that wants to cut the cable and start using streaming services, Disney might have all your favorite things, and you just like choose that over Netflix.
They might. I think Netflix will have more adult type content, similar to what HBO did versus cable, but we'll see. All right, we're done with the news. We're moving on, so you can move over. Welcome, Nicole Minaudo. I got it right again. She's going to be a talent specialist here at Detroit Labs, and she's going to be talking all about recruiting and what you do here at Detroit Labs, right, Nicole?
Yeah.
Welcome. We appreciate you joining us today. So, Tobi already said one thing. That's great. So, we've been working on getting you to say stuff. So, why don't you tell everybody what it is that you do here?
Sure. Yeah. So, as Dan mentioned, I am a talent specialist at Detroit Labs. So, a lot of the work I do here is with our on-site side of the business, where we have clients from all over the state in Metro Detroit who are looking for great talent, and I help find that.
So, help us understand. We have our services division or arm or whatever you want to say, business unit. But specifically, you're working with on-site. Help us understand a little bit what on-site means and why it's different.
Yeah. So when I had come to the company, my understanding is a lot of the work that we did at Detroit Labs early on for services, we were building a lot of work from the ground up for clients. So they'd come to us, ask us, to build a team and build native mobile apps and web apps and all this cool stuff we do from the ground up. And then Onsite came about because some of the clients we worked with came back and said, hey, we loved working with your employees. You've got really talented developers. Is there any way you can send us some of your people to work embedded on our teams on existing stuff we have. So we decided to try it out. And then that's where we started on-site. So I get the pleasure of working with a lot of different clients around in different industries, different projects, a lot of really cool stuff, and figuring out what would be the best type of developers, designers, delivery leads, all sorts of roles to be able to join their teams and really be great fits both technically and like culturally.
So it's interesting because you kind of have a unique challenge to solve, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're working with an external client trying to figure out what not just their skill set needs are, but what their personality needs are in a team member. At the same time, you're looking for Detroit Labs team members, right? So you're looking for the things that Detroit Labs values. So you're essentially recruiting for two companies at once.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, and so I think it's really fun because, with on-site, we're not just doing like short-term contracts where we're sending people somewhere for 3 or 6 months. Like we're hiring full-time Detroit Labs employees. These are ongoing projects. And so a lot of the work I tried to do early on when I got here was I met with a lot of our existing on-site team members, Tobi being one of them, and a few others. And I met with a lot of our clients just to find out, like, what's important to you. Like, I remember asking Tobi and a few other team members, like, what do you really want in your next teammate? Like, who can I find for you? And I remember one guy who works on site with us said, I just want someone who, like, is super fun, likes to laugh, but likes to work hard. And so one of the next interviews I had this guy that he had a great sense of humor, and he had been a dev for, quite a few years. And so I was able to bring him aboard, and those two are like best friends now. And so,
That's awesome.
And so that was a really cool experience to be able to do.
And so so if I'm hearing this correctly, you're not just talking to the client and figuring out what they want. If we have folks there, or if you have a relationship with somebody there that's working within that team, would you always try to go there first and say, hey, what do you want in a teammate versus what do you want in a team member to the client?
I think it's both and.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I think it's easier to start with our team members because it's a quick Slack message away, or we do like a ton of lunches, and I visit with a lot of the people that work on site a lot. But I definitely try to sit down with clients from the beginning and figure out. We just had a few meetings recently, actually, like, hey, what's the level of experience you need? Do you want someone who's a little bit more junior who can grow and you can mold and shape, or are you looking for someone to just hit the ground running because you've got tight deadlines and you need more of a senior talent? So yeah.
Yes. So you touched on this a little bit about your approach, and we've definitely worked together. And I know like a lot of the team members you've recruited, they truly feel very connected and engaged with you even after recruitment. So like, what are some things, plus the things you've mentioned, that kind of create that level of engagement you feel?
Yeah. So, I mean, the number one thing I always come back to is like empathy, tied in with the golden rule. I mean, there's not a person in this world, well, there probably are, but there's probably not too many people in this world who have not been on the other side of an interview. And I think I really try to treat people how I would want to be treated on the other side. One of the goals that I've always had is like just having at least one laugh. I mean, I'm not telling like my jokes on calls, but like having a laugh with people and getting to know them, and not just firing a bunch of technical questions, because then they're just going to give me canned answers that I want to hear anyway. So like, who are you as a person? Are you really going to be amazing to work with? Like, would I want to work with you, essentially? And I think I was really lucky. Before I came to Labs, I didn't have the best interviewing experience. I went through 5 interviews with a company over the course of 3 months.
Same company?
Same company, yeah. And
that's got to teach you a lot, though. At
yeah,
least, like, if you were frustrated, you
it was like the perfect
Don't say the company's name.
Because I had never done recruiting before coming to Detroit Labs, so it was like the perfect experience to prep me for this type of role. I was like, this is not what I want to do to people. This is not how I want to make them feel. I want them to feel like they would be a part of our Detroit Labs family from the beginning. And I'm glad you've heard that great feedback. Thanks for sharing, Tobi, because that's, to me, man, people are changing their entire life to come here or anywhere. And the goal is to make it a positive change.
So how do you balance like personality with skill set, right? Technical prowess. Every single, I mean, this isn't just in the development world or design world. Like anywhere we've seen really great, talented people.
Yeah.
That sometimes are difficult to get along with.
Sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes we see people that are wonderful to get along with, great team members, but the technical ability is not there, or just that skill set for whatever industry it is.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance that? Do you weight one more than the other?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I think of it as a luxury. I'm not a developer. And so a lot of where I start is with a lot of behavioral questions. I believe in this idea of transferable skills. And, it might sound really interesting to some people, but if people have worked in like the service industry before, they probably know how to multitask. They probably have great composure. They probably know how to treat people really well. And move in a fast-paced environment. And so for me, a lot of that stuff, I ask questions about people's experiences and how they've now navigated through challenges or learned from feedback they've gotten or given great feedback. For me, that's really important because in technology, especially development, there's a new language every few months. It's always changing. It's always evolving. And like, you can be really great at something and then be a junior all over again because something new came out.
It's an interesting way to look at it. So you're essentially looking for people that can grow, that can take on a new language.
Well, and I think that's a common misconception I hear a lot. Everybody wants experience. I need a senior developer with 5 years of experience. And like, yeah, you want people who know what they're doing. But I talk to a lot of junior developers. We have a meetup group here called Collabs where we invite people from the community out to work on projects, to do lectures. And I talk to a lot of people really early in their career. They're hungry, they're engaged, they're excited, they want to learn everything they can. They're working all day and then coming home and coding for 6 hours, which, by the way, is super inspiring. Like, I don't know many industries where people want to work that long after their day on their craft.
Tobi does that stuff.
Yeah. And so...
But again, like when you're at home, it's more like your hobby side projects, right?
Yeah.
It's not as intense as work.
Right, yeah. But to me, it's interesting because I talk to so many of these individuals who are just amazing and no one will give them a chance because they haven't had working experience. And we were actually really lucky. We just were able to help 2 people start working at a larger automotive company. And we've heard nothing but the best feedback from them about how eager they are to dig in and challenge themselves and learn and grow. And it's really interesting because sometimes I will talk to people with more experience. This isn't everybody. And they're like, yeah, I just want to show up and code and then leave.
Yeah.
And I want to put my headphones on and not work with others. And like, I don't know many jobs where you're going to be the only person on the team. Yeah. And so it's not everybody, right? There's exceptions to the rules, but I think that's a common misconception. And sometimes just giving people the chance and then you can bring them into your organization, help them be a part of your culture, and kind of mold them into what you're looking for in the best talent.
Yeah, and you've touched on it a little bit. I know one of the things that you really hammer on is like trying to know what the candidates actually want from themselves and like where they want to work. You want to touch on that a little bit? How do you go about it? Why do you do it?
Yeah. I mean, so I always equate, this is funny, Dan was talking about The Bachelor. I equate looking for a job to dating. Sometimes.
Is it Bachelor in Paradise?
Exactly.
It's almost like I knew what we were going to talk about.
I mean, sometimes you gotta kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince, right? So,
on a TV show.
We're in a landscape right now where there are more jobs than developers. And I think that, people are looking for a career where they can get something out of it. So that is a question I typically tried to ask on every call is like, what are the top 3 things that you want to get out of your next career. And the interesting thing about this is for most people, it's pretty much the same three things. And so a lot of folks, everybody wants to work with a really fun and exciting team who's engaged with what they're doing. Everybody wants to be challenged by what's going on, and everybody is looking for career development. I would say these are the top three, not everybody. Very, very few people that I talk to actually say money in that conversation. And I'm
that's
not.
interesting.
It is interesting, and I'm not sure if that's because they're trying to tell me the thing I want to hear. But you can.
Maybe it's the fourth reason.
Yeah.
The Benjamins.
The Benjamins, yeah. But there is a ton of research out there saying that people will work in places making less money if everything else is great,
Right.
and they're being recognized and they're getting development.
It's more of the experiential.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure.
And especially when you're growing, it's typically the things you do every day. I know personally the things I do day to day, those are the things you look forward to when you're taking a new position. You want to improve yourself in this particular kind of skill. So those are the things you're looking at. And the financial part of it just figures itself out, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what advice would you have for a recruiter? So someone in your position that is trying to be successful somewhere, and I mean, maybe you have some special secrets, and that's fine. But the value really is in the people doing the work. So what advice would you have for a recruiter?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not an expert at this. I started in this just over a year ago, so I've learned a lot. I can share what I've found to be successful for me. Hopefully that's helpful. I go back to this idea of having it more of a casual interview. Like, every interview doesn't have to be just firing questions and waiting for those right things. Like, you can open up the conversation. You should have the same questions probably for every candidate to keep it fair and benchmark it. But I try to really approach it as a conversation with folks. I try to get to know people for who they are. And I also realize that once you find great people, I mean, it's a competitive market. They're probably looking for jobs elsewhere.
Yeah.
And just because someone took a job at that moment doesn't mean you can't stay in touch with them.
That's a great point.
Over time.
Building the longer term relationships.
Yeah. So I just had a guy actually that I emailed yesterday. He took a job in February, and I just reached out and I was like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" And he was like, "Oh my gosh." He responded an hour later and was like, "Thanks for checking in. That means a lot." He's like, I've done 3 YouTube lectures. He's like, "I've been promoted. I'm doing awesome."
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, and he's like, "And I'd love to chat with you." And I was like, "Oh, cool. I just want to see. Yeah, let's chat." Yeah. So I think it's just not forgetting when you find great people, not forgetting about them and staying in touch. So.
That's awesome. And now on the flip of that, you've probably talked to 100 or more candidates in the last year or so. Millions.
60 in the last 3 weeks.
Million. Toby, we're going to learn about what numbers mean.
Numbers are made up human concept.
Yeah.
All right. So what would your advice be for a candidate? Did I get you right during the water drink?
Perfect, yeah.
All right.
I realized I was holding the cup the entire time, but didn't actually.
Where's your safety cup? It's fine.
Yeah, I was like, so you want interview advice?
Well, so when a candidate talks to you, what are the things that you hope to hear from them?
Yeah.
So if they were going to get, if they didn't do well and they were going to talk to you again, what do you hope changes in that time? Or what are some of the favorite things a candidate has said to you or approached?
Yeah, so I think, this sounds like a really obvious one, but I actually don't get a lot of people who do this. Knowing a little bit about the company you're applying at. So asking really good questions about the company itself, the culture. I've had some people ask me, why they enjoy or why I enjoy working here, but just being engaged. If you tell me you just saw the ad, I mean, that's fair. I appreciate honesty.
Right,
I'd rather you don't make something up. But having good questions about the company. And one thing that I really enjoy is when people are able to share really specific experiences that they've had about growing or giving feedback. And so a lot of times, I say I ask behavioral questions. So if I say, like, tell me about a time that you gave specific feedback to a peer, and they're like, well, when I give feedback, this is what I do. The theory doesn't really tell me that you've had a specific experience that you reflect on. So thinking
it could
about,
be a canned answer at that point, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, giving a specific answer. And then the other piece of advice that I would share that I got a long time ago from one of my mentors when I was learning how to get good at interviewing myself was this really easy, like, 3-step approach. So when you get asked a question on an interview, they told me that you should share what you did, how you did it, and what the result of what you did was. And that was some of, like, the best advice I have ever gotten, not just for interviewing, even for presenting. Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
It allows you to be really focused in your answer, tell what you did, what your process was, and then that you actually had a positive result and, like, improved something because of that. And I think that's just such a simple, wonderful formula that I'm so thankful my mentor gave to me, but I would share that with others too.
Well, it's interesting because I like that you touch on a candidate asking questions about the business that they're applying for. Not only does it show that they're engaged, and that's really good, but we're entering a new era of employment in general. For the longest time, the employee was lucky to have the job, right?
Not anymore.
Exactly. The employer
I've been
had
told
all
that.
Well, I mean, the employer had all the power in the relationship, right? And the employee was just lucky to have the job. And that's just, I mean, I don't know if it's a generational change or what it is, but now any one of these team members can go wherever they want.
Yeah.
Any person can get a job wherever they want, specifically in our industry. So, you know, in a lot of ways, the companies need to be lucky that they have them, and potential candidates should also be interviewing that company, asking questions about that company, because it's not just, are you a fit to be here?
Yeah.
Is that a company a fit to have me?
Yeah.
Right?
I tell candidates that a lot too. I'm like, you should be, if you have the luxury, not everyone has the luxury because of whatever's going on, but if you have the luxury to interview a company as much as they interview you, you absolutely should.
Yeah.
Because 40 hours a week is more time than you spend with your family, your friends, and a lot of jobs aren't just 40 nowadays. So if you're going to spend your life there, you better like what you're doing.
It's work has become more of a lifestyle at this point.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we talked a long time, actually, which is
That was
fantastic. No, it was
Felt like
good.
5
I even
minutes.
skipped a couple of things on here because you got to them before I got to them. So huge thank you to Nicole.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
coming.
joining
Thank you,
us
guys. This
today.
was
It was fantastic learning about recruiting, learning about from both a recruiter standpoint and a candidate. I mean, the value of Detroit Labs walks in and out of the door every single day, right? Like there's no secret sauce or anything here. It's really just the people, and any business in general. If you want to grow and you want to be successful, it's all about the people. So that being said, do not forget to subscribe, right, Toby?
Yep.
And then we hit the bell icon as well. That way you're notified. A big thank you to everyone. We have a live studio audience down here of 6 people, so it's
Thanks
pretty
for
raucous.
coming.
It's great. And to everyone that helped from the social photos, production, everything, thank you very much. Every 2 weeks is what we're aiming for, Thursdays at 3. Again, calendars permitting. Sometimes Toby and I have to travel, and the show will not go on without us. And I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
All
That's
right.
pretty much-
Have a
that
good
was
rest
fun.
of the day. Thank you. Bye.